A very good morning to us all. My name is Kenneth Dacop. I am the team lead strategic communication of the Plateau State Peace Building Agency. I want to, on behalf of my Director General, who is not here as we speak, she is in one of the troubled communities of Bokos, engaging with critical stakeholders at that level. So she sent in her apology. She would have loved to be here personally, but for the exigencies of her office. Yes, like you rightly know, for those who know, the Plateau Peace Building Agency was established in 2016 through an act of parliament. That is, there is a law backing the establishment of the Plateau Peace Building Agency. It was established, to be precise, on the 2nd of February 2016. Now, you may want to wonder, why the Plateau Peace Building Agency? Well, for those of you who know Plateau State, since 1994, when we had the first incident of violent conflict, as it were, and subsequently in 2001, 2004, down to 2010, and to where we are today, the approach before now was the heavy deployment of security personnel to first coil any uprising or restiveness, and then subsequently inquiries or commissions or panels were set up to deal with the aftermath of these conflicts and the violence. But over time, these panels sit and they bring out very good reports. The government issue out white papers, but little or nothing is done beyond that. And so the approach was to have a dedicated government institutional framework that will deal with these issues of conflict even while they are at their latent stage. And even when we have eruptions of conflict or violent conflicts, the agency will be able to engage with stakeholders, critical stakeholders at communities, to find enduring solutions to some of these conflicts. And that is why the government, the last administration in the state, thought it wise to establish the Plateau Peace Building Agency. And now the Plateau Peace Building Agency, most people will argue, yes, it is a creation of government. Yes, it is funded by government. But then it is a quasi-government agency. A quasi-government agency in the sense that we work with a wide range of stakeholders and partners, especially from the international scene, the national, and even at the local scene, to ensure that these issues of conflict are, addressed squarely. And if you know Plateau State very well, there are quite a number of issues that more often than not trigger conflict, violence in our communities. And some of these issues have deeply rooted historical backgrounds. Some of them, as we see, as the conflict mutated over time, as the conflict over time has its dynamic, and it has changed over time. But one thing that remains constant is the manifestation of these conflicts. That most times the manifestation of these conflicts take on religious coloration. So this is just the background. And, over time, we have seen communities pick up arms against one another. We have seen even communities recently in Lantang, Mikang, where two communities, went to war, quote and unquote, over a piece of land. So these are some of the issues of conflict that we have. They are deeply rooted. Some of them are triggered by, political, or they are, politically motivated conflicts, so to say. And these are key issues that we have to, to deal with as we engage with critical stakeholders from the community level to the local government level and up to the state level. Now, as a fairly new government agency, of course, it is without its teething challenges anyway. We've had teething challenges even right from its inception. And we have identified some of the challenges that have to do with, new agencies, like I said. And before now, the concentration was within the urban centers. And for those of you who have been following the conflict, you discover that the mostly affected local government areas before now were just north and just south. But over time, we have seen these conflicts moving from the city center to local government areas, precisely Bassa, Riyom, Barikin Ladi, Bokos, and most recently Mongu, and even Boise and Mikang local government areas. These are all local government areas that have been affected by these violent conflicts over the years. And so we have tried over the years to decentralize our activities, from the city center down to the communities. And we have established what we refer to as DEX offices in all of these local government areas. And what we are doing is that we have decentralized and we have what we call a Community Peace Architecture Forum. This is a structure, a localized peace structure, consisting of critical stakeholders at the local government levels. Stakeholders like international non-governmental organizations who are working within local government areas, NGOs, CSOs, CBOs, Farmers Association, the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders, GAVDAN, National Orientation Agency, traditional institutions, religious institutions, and so on. We meet on a monthly basis where we take stock of happenings within local government areas with a view to finding community-driven solutions to them. And over the years, we have been able to do that. And in those communities that, especially troubled communities, we have been able to, get them engaged so that these solutions, because we don't go into those communities with solutions. We assume that these are people that have stayed with one another for a very long time. So the solutions actually come from them. And these structures serve as feedback mechanism to us as well at the Plateau Peace Building Agency. And we have recorded quite a number of, success stories with these local peace structures. I can see around the hall there are some of our members that work at that level. And we have also engaged with the traditional institutions. And the traditional institutions, we have identified them as critical stakeholders because they are the people who are at that level of our community. And, these are people that we have worked with them closely to find, enduring solutions to some of these problems. So as it is now, we have conducted quite a number of conflict assessments, rapid conflict assessment in communities. So what we are experiencing in Plateau State today is more of a criminally induced conflict. Criminally induced conflict in the sense that we see people, bandits, criminals, or whatever you want to call them, coming into communities to either rustle cows, to either, attack people. And because the level of resilience, community resilience, has not been built to a certain position where communities can absorb this shock. So once these things happen, communities begin to take up arms against one another. So that is what we're experiencing at the moment. And we are working closely and tirelessly to ensure that we build, community resilience to a certain point that communities will begin to deal with these issues even within their communities. Lastly, just last week we were at Mongu. We have carried out a series of interventions in Mongu. Last week we had a training of stakeholders on interest-based negotiation and mediation. This is to build their capacity so that once they have such conflicts, they will sit on a round table, discuss their issues, and find enduring solutions to them, as I said. Thank you for this time, and we'll talk some more before I go.